Alright, we're going to be casting my friend Peter's game on Ranked, and I will actually do this with the whole Fog of War revealed. So, Arabia game, very classic map, Magyars versus Mongols. This is a pretty interesting matchup of two very good cavalry civs, or cavalry/cavalry archer civs. Magyars have a really strong scout rush because they have +1 attack on their sort of free forging and blast furnace, and then, or I'm sorry, what is it? Forging, iron casting, and blast furnace. Yep. Mongols can go up super early because they can hunt. They collect hunt faster, so you know it's not uncommon for them to go get their boar early or even litter a couple of deers. And Mongols, the win condition for Mongols is usually play crossbows or knights or something to defend in Castle Age, because they have a relatively weak Castle Age, and then work yourself up to Meng-Yang with a castle, hopefully 2 castles or 3 castles, and then end the game in the late game with some kind of like Meng-Yang Hussar siege. And they have really dangerous siege because they have drill, which makes their rams move faster. For Magyars, Magyars is actually like a really good kind of overall civ to play with. They don't have any like particularly great eco bonuses. You know, they just get some free technologies, but the main thing is they get a very wide tech tree. They have access to arbalests with bracer. They have champions even, so they could even, you know, like do decent against meso civs if they switch to like longswords against eagles. And then they can, you know, against cavalry, they have their own knights with the free forging. And then they can, even in the late game, go some weird combination of like cavalry archer plus Magyar hussar, which is very strong. Magyar hussars are basically like a better version of the normal hussar, and you can get it for really cheap gold or even free gold if you research the technology. They're like mini cavaliers, except they don't cost. They're basically trash units. See, 9 attack, elite version is 10 attack. Pretty decent HP once you get bloodlines. So anyway, that's an overview of the civs. If you look at Peter's map, he's got back wood, back gold, 2 back wood actually, and his berries are pretty safe as well. They're towards the back of the base, so that's really good. It means he can definitely safely go scouts. He's got the right build order with going 3, and then doing you know, doing the boar stuff and getting the berries, so everything's looking good. This sheep probably was killed prematurely by accident. Usually you don't want to go sheep. You want to go for your second boar, and if possible lure in the deer. It actually goes a long way anytime you lure a deer, though it's not necessary. So let's just fast forward through the Dark Age. It's not, I don't anticipate either player going Drush or Men-at-Arms. A small thing that Peter can do better is he's got 6. 6 is about as much as you want on berries, but you should actually queue these to the other side so that they gather. Here, he's actually corrected this, so they don't bump as much into each other. It's bad pathing in DE. But also, like, this mill probably could have been better right up against it. Like, you could form this. It forms like an L shape, so this mill could have probably wedged right there instead of on the far end. I don't remember if there's like a spot right there to begin with, but anyway. Yeah, the closer you can get to all the berries, the better, just because the berries go away pretty quick. So let's see what his scouting looks like. He hasn't found his opponent yet, but that's okay because you want to have enough to go. It'll take a while before he goes scouts. You gotta build the stable. I like that he built the barracks on the way up to feudal age, and I like that he's balanced his eco. He's got 2 lumber camps. This lumber camp probably could have been a little bit further up, and then he's walling his base. So very good play. I think he knows the back of this base is open, so he needs to wall this side. stable in the back, stable blacksmith. The blacksmith is probably early, especially for Magyars, because you already get free forging, so you'll have the strongest scouts in the game, assuming the Mongol didn't go up faster than you. I'll slow this down. If the Mongols do go up faster, you can always create like one spear to defend, and then like the point is that what this blacksmith does is it kind of sets you back actually, right? It makes it so that you're not putting farms, which is really important. When you have 6 on food and you're trying to go scouts, it's hard to sustain that, to sustain scout production. So the 150 wood here for the blacksmith could have been better spent just seeding a bunch of farms. Let's see what the opponent has done. You kind of see that, yeah, so the opponent, who is not doing a scout rush, interesting. Blacksmith, he looks like he's trying to do like a fast castle. It's really weird. But the opponent should be like, he's got more farms up, right? And it's because they didn't build a bunch of feudal buildings. But the opponent also didn't build a single stable or a spearman. I mean, this is kind of just bad play, because when you're going up against Magyars, you should expect scouts. And Magyar scouts are very, very strong, right? They're 6 attack. So, yep, Peter probably got a couple kills. Let's say 3 kills to 0. He's up by 3 villagers. There might have been a little idle time on both sides. And then right around this time, 14 minutes, even a little bit before, is when he should be going gold. So I love it. I see this mining camp. He's gone gold. He still needs to fully wall this back of the base. That would have helped. And then he's seeding farms. And then you can see the 440 floated. See, this is the issue, is like sometimes when you're microing and you're trying to kill opponents, you're like neglecting your economy a little bit. Floating 500 wood, if you seed the farms quicker, that gets you to castle age quicker. So it's all about like trying to keep this number down, like ideally below 100, but certainly below 200. But the flip side is his opponent, he's prevented his opponent from walling. He's bought himself a huge advantage. If you look at the vill count, 33 to 25, that's like game ending. Like there's very little, if he plays right, then like it's very hard for the opponent to come back. And even with like a couple spears, advanced micro, you can like move them around and whatever, like have some of them chase one unit and the others just attack. But yeah, like he's done plenty of damage. You don't have to fight this anymore. Just let them kind of do their thing, fix their eco, but the opponent is scared, they're not counterattacking, and you're fully walled. You can just fight with vills here. Oh, you're gonna lose a villager here. Probably didn't notice. Okay, and I think you lose one-on-one here. You need to fight with 2 villagers. Let's see. Ooh, close. Ah. Okay. Yeah, that's why you fight with multiple vills. Because scouts get extra. Oh, he researched forging. Interesting. That's usually not something you want to necessarily do. It's quite an investment. And then, yep. Okay, so what I would have recommended doing this instead is once the opponent walls up, or you see he's got like way too many spears, the damage is done. Like you made him invest in spears, that sets him even farther behind. What I would have done with the 3 or 4 scouts he had remaining was, you see the map, it's completely unexplored. You haven't uncovered, you found your own like secondary gold, but you haven't uncovered like the relics or the tertiary or what we call the neutral gold or stone. So usually you want to, like once you've done a bit of scout damage, all you got to do is just send your stuff around the map. Just walk around the map, set a bunch of like set points, and then just walk around. But because of your superior economy, you're definitely going to get to Castle Age faster at a reasonable time. You're going to click at close to 1930. Yep, so something like 22-minute castle time. Not bad, not bad. And let's look at the opponent. The opponent's garbage. Garbage economy. He's researching horse collar. I think that's a mistake. Double bit axe. All of this stuff just sets him back even more. And he made a bunch of spearmen because he was terrified of the Magyar scouts. So, you know, you're in a very good spot. You gotta fix the idols though. Bunch of idols. So yeah, walking around the opponent's base, it's not a bad idea, seeing what you can scout, but generally speaking, I would prefer, as in this time, you have like this period when you're researching Castle Age, which is a really long period, you know, you have nothing better to do. Usually you spend that time to fix your economy and then scout the map. Like look for, again, just what the map looks like, look for points to attack. Like maybe you can see here, is he walled here? Is there a nice hill that you could later pressure from the hill on? And then I like how you're rebalancing the eco here. So, you know, obviously without knowing how the game progresses, the question is, as you're clicking up the Castle Age, is like, what do you want to do? Do you want to take advantage of the faster Castle Age time to either boom your economy, right? Because you're going to be far ahead and you can put down extra town centers, you know, you're floating a lot of wood for it. So you can afford definitely afford 2 TCs immediately, and you maybe claim the neutral goal here, or sorry, the secondary goal here, or you could use it to go double stable knights and really put the pressure on the opponent. The opponent is fully walled, but if you have like enough, you can break down the walls, especially if you have a forward siege workshop. So those are like your 2 practical options. It looks like you are going for the boom. So that's good. Yeah, you're getting housed a little bit, but that's okay. Not a big deal. Yeah, generally you want to build town centers with like at least 3, probably 4 villagers. It'll take too long to construct otherwise. Yeah, I would like to see the second town center be up here, because first of all, because these are like, if the opponent eventually controls this, that's not cool. But secondly, you're faster to Castle Age. The opponent's going to be terrified. They're not going to try to like attack you right now, right? So this is free. You can use this free time because the opponent's, well, I guess I misspoke. The opponent went really heavy on scouts, but I still think you could have easily come out here, and with the right kind of like supporting cast to defend the villagers, claim this open spot. There's nothing that's scary about Mongol scouts. You know, when you see that many scouts, you should be really happy because you know you just wasted a whole bunch of eco. But anyway, this back town center is fine. You probably need like closer to 10 to 12 on wood. 7 is not a lot because you know you're constantly reseeding farms and you're trying to build new buildings and all that stuff. So I like to see closer to like 12. And with all this extra resources, you could be pressuring the opponent with knights. So let's see if you're gonna do that. Again, you have free blast furnace, so each knight is +2 automatically. That's, first of all, that's really good for raiding. You know, it's good for killing like villagers, and then it's good for killing like their counter unit, like pikemen. You know, the more damage you can deal to them in a short amount of time, the better. So right now you're 6 villagers ahead, or sorry, 15 villagers ahead. Just it really speaks to how helpful like an earlier Castle Age is. The thing as Magyars that you have to be careful of is how can the Mongols get back into the game, right? Like, so they can get back into the game if they get if they claim stone, they build a castle, and then you find it really hard to push them. This siege workshop is a good idea, but it should be on a hill. It needs to be a little bit better. That way, like, it can have like a hill bonus when you're right out of the gate when your mangonels are like attacking the walls, or even if an opponent mangonel comes, you just want to be on higher elevation. And then ideally, like when you're building this with 1 villager, have your army there just so they don't like pick it off or something. But I like the idea. But with forward siege, you definitely have to have army. You have to build a ton of. Oh, you could have fought this. You could definitely fought this. But you have to have a ton of knights, right? Because like the siege, like 1 knight kills a mangonel pretty easily. You have to have like sufficient supporting cast And so like all the spearmen should be there, all the whatever melee units. And then back at home, continue to boom. That's perfect. Let's see if you have wheelbarrow. Right around this time, you should definitely be having wheelbarrow. No wheelbarrow yet. So yeah, like when it's like 29 minutes in the game, you definitely need wheelbarrow. I usually get it around like 40 to 50 builds myself. Siege ram is a good idea. Mangonel is probably better to start with, just because they can attack like a villager behind it that's walling. But I love the knights. This is actually kind of fun casting it from your perspective and not like having map hacks. Okay. I like that you're going on stone. That's good. You'll like if the game goes late, you'll need castles and probably trebuchets. I would have taken this scout and just do a quick lap around and see like what else you can see. Like, are you seeing, like for example, are they taking stone? Are they having like a bunch of archery ranges, for example? Because Mongols can go crossbowmen in Castle Age, and then just kind of get a sense of what they're up to, because information is really helpful. You can kind of see up here we're cheating a little bit, but they're going hard into cav archers and then what do you call it? Camels. So that's rough. Okay, this is a good idea to run away, not take big fights. See, so this is how like the opponent gets back in the game, right? So you chose sort of like the boom strategy. You know, you instead of like immediately pressure two stable or even 3 stable knights, you boomed at home. It does give the opponent a little bit of an opportunity. I would be willing to bet that the opponent is probably 1 town center right now, and they just invested a whole bunch of resources into these freaking cav archers and pikemen, which is a really dangerous combo for against knights. So yeah, we'll see. And he's got, you can see down here, he's got way more military than you. When you see this kind of aggression, or you know, he's kind of hard countering your units, the thing to do probably is to stop making as many knights and then prepare to counter their counter units. So what is good against, and I'm not saying like completely stop making knights at all, right? But like, what is good against cav archers? What is good against pikemen? Well, scorpions, if you're safe, like if you've got like pretty good walls and you just want to have a couple of like a defensive siege workshop, and a scorpion can shoot through multiple units and it's really resilient to arrows and all that. Or skirmishers. Skirmishers have bonus damage against pikemen, they have bonus damage against cav archers, right? They're kind of clunky because of the minimum range and all that shit, but like they're viable. The worst thing to do is to throw a bunch of knights at this and hoping it works, right? So I like that you're being active here. When he's attacking you here, the most important thing is to try to wall them out. This is getting pretty dangerous. He's threatening like all of his economy right here. Did you build a... I guess you don't have enough stone yet, but I figured you'd have enough stone by now for... oh, you do, for a castle. Yeah, so a castle here is perfect. Good. This is a good castle. Defensive castle. You need more... You're going to lose a lot of villagers this way, because he's got the knights. Oh yeah, this is turning into a shit show. The castle's denied. Garrison the villagers, that helps. Yeah, cav archers are a pain in the ass to deal with once they're just like roaming free in your land. So yeah, this is a pretty... The opponents kind of clawed their way back into the game, right? And the Mongols have the cav archer bonus, right? They're pretty strong. But yeah, alright, so this is a great castle now that you finished it, because it effectively protects this whole area, which is a lot of good resources. Now you have actually pretty much, the opponent's pretty much caught back up. Best thing you can do is to pressure, and so I love that you're here and trying to pressure. Oh, and you broke in, right? Run everybody in and raid the shit out of them. So this is a good idea. The worst thing to do was to run those guys back and try to like hit the hit the pikemen because you're just throwing units away. The best thing you could have done is put counter pressure. But you know, he cleans it up. He's got pikemen and camels. And there you go. Okay, so if I were in this position and I see a bunch of camels and I see a bunch of pikemen and then, you know, occasionally a couple knights and cav archers. Oh yeah, and so this is kind of sketchy, right? So yeah, this okay, yeah. This castle would have been ideal. Like if you had been able to wall this out before he attacked, this castle would have definitely gone here or somewhere near here, and then you would build like a TT or something, right? But see, like now because you like took longer to get to this spot, you're claiming this gold, and you're almost. Well, I guess you got some gold, but you're starting to run out here. I like the constant vil production, but if I were in this position and I'm seeing camels, pikemen, and occasionally like a couple of knights, I would actually recommend, as Magyars, who have a really open tech tree, full tech switch into, so you're going cav archers, I would have done arbalest, and then maybe like get into cav archers later once you've got all the upgrades, like the armor and the husbandry and the ballista. It just, cav archers take so much time for them to be effective. And unlike like the Tatars who get like thumb ring and Parthian tactics for free, you gotta like work yourself up to this, you know what I mean? So it's because cav archers aren't like, they're kind of expensive, they're kind of like clunky without that Mongol like faster firing bonus, and you need a lot of upgrades for them to be effective. Generally speaking, early Imperial, it's probably better just spam like 5, how many archery ranges you got? 2? Spam like 5 or 6 archery ranges, go arbalests, they'll kill pretty much everything, and then if he starts to like, you know, do other shenanigans like going Cavalier or something that can start killing the arbalest, then you can switch into your cav archer and heavy cav archer. The issue with this unit is like it's clunky and it takes a little bit of time because you lack like you kind of lack like the key upgrades. You got to get armor, you got to get ballistics, you got to get thumb, like it just so much stuff, right? So anyway, if you look at the vil count, I like that you're at 100 vils. That's always good. Try to always work yourself up to 150. And you were doing this on 2 town centers, so that's pretty good. And yeah, so the thing here, you're choosing Cavalier and Cav Archers at the same time. It's kind of expensive. It can get you into gold trouble really quickly. But you know, it could work. You just got, what you have to do is you got to keep your units together. You have to make sure they're together because like as soon as he sees this, what is he going to do? He's going to send his pikemen over, right? And then, you know, okay, I guess you kind of caught him here. But yep, here comes the pikemen. I love that you killed a bunch of villagers. Yeah, this guy's macro game is garbage. He doesn't know how to macro. But he would, like, any player, as soon as he sees the Cavalier, they would just throw their pikemen and camels and everything at him, right? So that's where like at this point like the cav archers can go to support because you can shoot at the melee units from behind, and so that engagement there where you killed like I don't know 5 or 10 villagers and then lost the army, it could have been even better had you had the cav archers to support. A good supporting unit is actually the skirmisher. It's not terrible, especially against pikemen, the elite skirmisher. Okay. So you're kind of in a standstill. The first thing that's got to come, since you're in Imperial, get the siege weapons out, get the trebuchets out, or you can go. I think they have siege ram. No siege ram. Cap ram will do. Just anything to kind of like start putting the pressure on, because you know they've got like they're the Mongols. Yeah, see, there's their castle. They want to get into Mengadai because Mengadai kills everything. So you gotta like really put the pressure, and like you don't want this to drag into the late game, because the Mongols get really dangerous. Okay, so here's a whole flood of here's a whole flood. All right, so nice micro, good running away. Yeah, pick off as many. This is smart. Picking off as many pikemen as you can while hit and run. The camel will chase you down, but you can micro them down. And then once the pike, you're kind of baiting the pikemen into your castle. This is smart, good play, bad play by him. Now that the pikemen are done, he's pretty much done, right? You can send your cavalier back. These guys are kind of doing nothing here, but send them back. Let him fight under your castle. Yep, stupid on their behalf. Your cavalier, like if you sent them back, they would have cleaned everything up right then. But this will do. You just lost like. Oh, okay. All right, he gave up. All right, so I mean, you definitely were like score difference. You know, they can kind of see. If we just kind of take a step back, so overall, your scout rush was very effective, and it got you to a decent castle age time. I think your build was pretty good overall, like the build order. The main thing I wanted to see different in the feudal age was to scout a little bit more after you put the pressure on, because then he's rebuilding his walls, he's freaking out because he's got the spears, and just send the scouts in all directions, see where the relics are. Relics are helpful in the late game, and yeah, and it also like puts a little bit more like stress on the opponent because your score will artificially go up. So that's feudal age. In castle age, in my opinion, putting on early pressure is better because you've already got the advantage, right? Like if you're fast at a castle, you feel knights, you know, before he even gets a chance to tech into camels and pikemen, right? So like if you go double stable knights and build like a critical mass of like 10 or something, he'll barely have his first pikeman or camel out by then, even though he's got a couple like spearmen or whatever from feudal age. So you could have put a lot of pressure. The Forward Siege Workshop was a good idea. The issue with it was you didn't have enough like military because you opted to boom. And it's not to say that like booming is bad. You can definitely do both. But like when you're ahead, instead of like immediately booming, sometimes games can be lost just because the freaking like you kind of let the opponent get back into the game with like by them just really going hard with military, right? That's how they can claw their way back in while you're trying to boom at home. Ultimately, your gamble paid off because you were able to defend your economy and all that, and get to Imperial faster. But like what I would have liked to see, like, you know, 10, 12 knights really putting the pressure as soon, you know, once the first or second knight comes out the door, immediately start pounding down the walls. He's going to be freaking out. Back that up with Forward Siege Workshop if you want to put the pressure. If you don't want to put the pressure, the second town center should be up here because you might as well claim the space. He really was not in a position to defend or to really kind of put pressure on you because he's freaking out. And then in Castle Age, when you saw the gigantic amount of camel and pikemen, I think like overall you were pretty good about keeping your knights away from the pikemen. That's smart for like keep preserving your army, but like I probably wouldn't have gone cav archers. I would have opted, just because again of all the tech upgrades they need, I would have opted to go crossbow, arbalest into early Imperial, start getting all the freaking upgrades like chemistry, all the pierce armor stuff, and thumb ring, which is very important, and then start moving into cav archers and then a Magyar Hussar kind of a late game composition, and then that should win you the game. But like Cavalier will do it. It just like the opponent went heavy camel rider, so he was hard countering it, but like he didn't have enough, right? Like his economy was kind of garbage, so it didn't matter. But like if you see a shit ton of like cavalry and pikemen, that kind of signals it's about time to stop making knights basically and start thinking about something else. But yeah, well played. You definitely had a much better economy than your opponent.